Welcome, wheelchair rugby fans from Canada and Australia, and indeed around the world, to this, the bronze medal game at the 2018 Canada Cup for wheelchair rugby. I'm Tim Frick, joined by Ian Chan, and we'll break down the game for you in a few moments. But this is Team Canada, third ranked in the world, against Team Australia, second ranked in the world. Ian, you come with an incredible wheelchair rugby pedigree. In fact, the founder of wheelchair rugby is the guy that recruited you, Duncan Campbell.
Yeah, Duncan Campbell. We
And,
can't say enough good things about Duncan Campbell.
I didn't do my homework yesterday on the Murder Ball movie, but your 2002 gold medal winning try, or goal it was called in those days, was featured in the movie. So 20 years on the national team, you know these teams like you know the back of your hand. Give us a rundown on what to expect.
Well, we got two great, very experienced teams here today. We obviously saw a pretty good match between Australia and Canada yesterday, and it looked like Team Canada was playing very well in the first two quarters. And even though I think they might be outmatched on paper, they just want to stay, they want to play fundamental rugby. They want to stay disciplined, and they want to stick to the process. And if they do that, I think they'll be successful.
And what about Team Australia?
Well, Team Australia, they've been rotating their bench a little bit throughout the tournament. We'll have to see whether Coach Brad Dubley will want to shorten the bench a little bit in order to put their best players on. Maybe run up the score a little bit in order to get some of their bench players on. But I'm sure Team Canada will have something to say about that.
And talking of, speaking of coaches, I should say, Coach Duberly out of Point Cook in the province of Victoria down in Australia. He played on the national team himself for about 10 years, won the silver medal with the team in Sydney, been the head coach now since Beijing in 2008. What do you think, which players is he going to lean on to help win this game for
him? I think Coach Brad Duberly, he was also known as the kid back in the day. He might not be so much a kid now. But yes, Brad Duberly was a star player back in the day. And I think he'll probably lean on his best player, Riley Batt. They've been intending to start their 3-5-2-2.5 lineup at the Olympic tip, eventually subbing in their high-low with Chris Bond as a 2.5. I feel that their high-low is still their best lineup, but Coach Duberly still feels that starting their 3-5-2-2.5 lineup gives them some sort of advantage or a different look from the start of the game.
And we look at the other team, Team Canada, of course, our favorite team. Patrick Cote, the coach there from Montreal, he spent about 10 years as a technical analysis coach with the team. He knows this game unbelievably well. Was appointed head coach in February of 2017. His assistant coach, none other than Dave Wilsey, former team captain. He was in the Murder Ball movie as well. I mean, gosh, what a resume those two have. Who are they going to look to on their team to step up?
Well, they got some veterans in Mike Whitehead, Fabian Lavoie, Trevor Hirschfeld and Pico Dagenet are the two captains, but they have a wealth of experience on the Canadian side.
So taking a look at some of the individuals from your perspective, Ian, Riley Batt, taking my notes here, 159 tries. I mean, he's miles ahead of anyone.
What about Chris Bond? Chris Bond, I'm sure, has got
Chris Bond, 115, so they got two guys in the century mark.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Obviously, they're the workhorses for Team Australia, and they'll look like they're going to be carrying the workload again today.
Travis Morale for Canada, 40 tries, 59 for Mike Whitehead, 45 for Cody Caldwell, 41 for Fabian Lavoie, Shane Smith with 19, the rookie. So Canada's got some nice balanced scoring as well. And as we wait for the opening tip, we'll take a moment to thank BC Wheelchair Sports Association for putting on this Canada Cup. This is the 8th Canada Cup. You played in 7 of them. So you know this feeling well. It must be a bit different being on this side of the court.
I'm proud to be a part of BC Wheelchair Sports and the tournament organizing committee. I now realize how much hard work goes on behind the scenes, and I'm very appreciative of the hard work that people pay.
A nice tilt by Riley Batt as Australia will score the first try, and it's critical in this game of possessions to get that first possession. Morale gets it into Whitehead, knocked away from him. He felt he was fouled, and Australia with the steal.
Yeah, it looked like number 14 might have got a hand on that pass. I'm not sure if he got arm or ball, but either way, it was open turnover.
And there goes Riley Batt adding to his total. And a quick lead for Team Australia. Here comes Morale now, right side. He's got Caldwell on the left side. 2-on-1 against Batt. What will Batt do? Forces the pass. And Caldwell scores for Canada.
Smart play by Cody Caldwell there, stretching out the floor, drawing Riley Batt in order to stretch out that 2-on-1 play.
Here comes Batt now. He's tracked down by Caldwell and Whitehead. Gets away from them. Hit again by Caldwell.
We'll have to wait and see what sort of a defensive strategy Australia wants to employ here. It appears that they're going to put their number 2 and number 3, their 2 deuces on the big man Whitehead, allowing Riley to create some turnovers on his own.
Here comes Morale now, tracked down by Harris. Gets it over to the top to Caldwell. Out to Desjardins. Nice pass to Whitehead. He's going to go 1-on-1 against Riley Batt. Instead, he passes. Nice little bounce pass to Pico.
That's a 1-pointer, being a safe outlet to get the ball back to Whitehead and scoring the goal.
Here comes Riley Batt now, right side. Whitehead can't track him down. Morale will give it a try. We'll give it an effort, I guess. I've got to watch my terminology now. And Australia with the early lead here, bit of momentum. Here comes Whitehead down the middle, using Desjardins as a screen. That ball is picked off by Harris.
Heads up play by Harrison there, realizing that he was about to go over our back. Worked hard to get the turnover or to get the position to get in that passing lane, and then he made a heads up play to call timeout.
So very good use of a player timeout that time, and Canada actually using that timeout to get some information in to some of the players, and we've got a few substitutions as well. Lavoie and Hirschfeld into the game to join Caldwell and Morale.
Coach Cote with a quick chat to Canadians to see if they can rally the troops a little bit. They had a good start yesterday versus Australia against this lineup, and it looks like Australia is bringing their A game today with 2 quick turnovers.
Ball comes into Riley Batt. He's doubled over the top to Edmondson, and he'll roll in. So Australia with their balanced lineup, Ian, to start the game.
Yeah, no, the bounce lap is another errant pass. Luckily, Fabien Lavoie there was pick it up.
A nice move by Lavoie to evade Riley Batt. A nice bounce pass to Travis Morale. Batt takes the penalty in an attempt to stop the try.
Nice transition by the Canadians there, most likely forcing Riley Batt to inbound. The call is a penalty.
Oh, I'm surprised it's a penalty and not a penalty try, because I thought Morale was heading over the line there.
Well, the ref was in position to make that call, so it is up for interpretation, and he did call a penalty.
No, I mean, the referees here have been just terrific.
Oh,
They've really done a great job and kept the games well under control and made a lot of fantastic calls.
Canadians setting up a trap here, forcing Riley Batt to inbound. We'll see how this plays out.
So double teaming the first inbounder. There's the give and go attempt. Australia got lucky there as that ball was pinballing around.
Oh, great defense by Canadians here.
Here comes Edmondson now. And that will be, I believe, a backcourt penalty, will it? Oh.
And that resulted in forcing Riley Batt to inbound, and then they can put pressure on the ensuing inbound, knowing that Riley's off the court. And even though they didn't get it, even though the Canadians didn't get a turnover out of that, they got a timeout, which is pretty good consolation prize.
That is really good, actually, because Canada still has all 4 of theirs. Australia now down to 2, so as the game progresses, those become more and more important.
Exactly.
Edmondson somehow gets free and beats Morale to the line. Nice give and go. Morale, Caldwell, up to Lavoie. And Riley Batt, talk about his defense. He tries to check 3 or 4 people at the same time, and that time it got him in trouble.
He's able, with his speed, he's able to close ground on people so fast that that's the biggest difference from this elite level to, let's say, club level, is that you just have a lot less time to make decisions because of Riley Batt's speed and his ability to close gaps.
Lavoie, another speedy Canadian, up to Caldwell. He's
calling
not
a timeout, probably. Yeah.
Not quite able to get onto the ball in time, and Canada's forced to use one of their timeouts. But that's not a bad use of a timeout, really, is it? I mean, it's not a bailout situation.
Right.
It's a scoring situation.
Right. If Cody Caldwell didn't call a timeout there, it would have resulted in a turnover. So, hey, a timeout's better than a turnover.
Morale with a back pick on Ben Fawcett.
Canadians already setting up for the next play. Morale keeping the .5 out of the play in order to create a small advantage in transition.
Give and go to Caldwell to Hirschfeld, back to Caldwell. Here comes Lavoie now. He's tracked down by Riley Batt. Nice pick by Caldwell, even though it didn't make contact. And that opened up Morale for the easy try.
Good job by the Canadians scoring against the key defense of Australia. They seemed to struggle a little bit yesterday, and they seem to fix that today.
Big hit by Lavoie, right side. Ball pops out to Riley Batt. He finds the tiniest of openings. I thought Caldwell had him lined up, but just got through.
That was pretty good defense by the Canadians. They put pressure on Riley Batt right at center line. Center line being a bit of a danger zone for most teams.
Around now, inbounds. Hirschfeld, there's the give and go. Quick outlet to Lavoie. He's hooked and held, but gets away. Finds Morale. And Travis Morale's having a good tournament, Ian.
Travis Morale in the last couple of years has come a long way. His game has really has gone to the next level, and that's really good to see. I think the Canadians are doing a lot better job moving the ball. They might have realized yesterday that the longer they hang on to the ball and the more opportunities they give Riley Batt to be a presence on the ball, the more trouble they can get into. So the key is to make that first pass and move the ball as quickly as possible.
A nice denial there by Lavoie, but the ball just out of his reach. And here comes Batt. He's got Edmondson right side. Big hit by Lavoie. Here comes Batt. Nice defense by Canada, but a bit of a pile up there as everybody got hooked on everybody else. And I believe Lavoie actually had a flat tire, perhaps, or just a loose axle.
I couldn't really see what that was.
It looked like just an adjustment to the axle. Might have gotten popped. Those quick release axles sometimes, I guess when they get hit, they might pop out a little bit.
Yeah, they jar loose sometimes.
Caldwell here now. He uses Hirschfeld. Hit by Edmondson. He's in a dangerous area here, trapped in the half court, but Lavoie bails him out. Lavoie is hit from behind by Riley Batt. Well, that looked like a bit of a dangerous play.
Big pressure by the Aussies here.
Yes, Harrison gets it back to Riley Batt. And Edmondson will roll in.
Aussies off to a strong start with their 3-5-2, 2.5 lineup.
So Canada has struggled a little bit with turnovers throughout the tournament. And it's cost them a little bit early on, so they're going to need to really manage that ball well from here on in.
Just another day at the office for Trevor Hirschfeld, the one pointer here.
Getting hit by
getting
Riley
over
Batt.
half, taking a hit by probably the best player in the world, and
drawing the penalty. Great job of protecting the ball. Trevor Hirschfeld, of course, from Parksville, BC. He was named the best Class 1 in the world at 2010, 2014 World Championships, as well as the 2014 and 2016 Canada Cups. So great career for Trevor, and he takes a well-deserved rest. So we've got a timeout, full timeout here called by Coach Jubilee.
And wanting to talk about things here.
He's got some information to send in, and while he does that, Ian will take a moment to thank the Government of Canada for their financial support. Government of BC, of course, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Richmond Sport hosting, and you know, this incredible Richmond Olympic Oval. You know, you talk about a destination tournament or event. You know, any sporting event where you get to come to Richmond and come to the Oval is definitely a tourism opportunity as well. Riley Batt now, looking for an opening, shifts gears, tracked down by Whitehead. Whitehead not quite quick enough to get over there and stop him, and he'll roll in left side. Coach Cote not happy with the referees there as we take a look at this replay, and we see Mike Whitehead forced to.
Yeah, Coach Cote was a little frustrated in that he felt Patrice, number 15, was hacked a little bit as he was trying to release that ball on a pass. A lot of times refs will let the ticky-tacky kind of contacts go if they don't feel it's warranted for a penalty.
Here comes Whitehead up to Lavoie. So Canada going with a bit of a high-low lineup here.
Yeah, there's subtle differences. Canadians high-low. Yesterday they ran the Fabien Lavoie and Whitehead with the 2-1s. Today they've decided to run with Patrice, number 15, and Eric, number 41.
And Rodriguez, the rookie on the team out of Mississauga, plays for the Toronto Titans. Here comes Lavoie now.
We knew we'd see this at some point in the game. Aussies always tending to drop back at some point in the key, giving their defensive key a shot at creating a turnover.
A nifty little pass over the top from Lavoie to Whitehead, and the veteran Mike Whitehead out of Windsor, Ontario. He's been on the team since 2001. You played a lot of years with Whitey.
Oh, Mike Whitehead's a great player, and at a grand old age of 42, he's still playing at the best, at the top of his game.
Just a youngster. And back comes Team Canada now.
Aussies looking to do their half-court press again.
Big hit by Batt on Whitehead, but he gets away. Nice little pick by Rodriguez. And there's Simard. The best class 1.5 at the 2010 World Championships that were held right here at the Oval. So he's a veteran player for Team Canada as well. So lots of experience out there for the Canadian squad.
Riley Batt was drawing a triple team there by opening up number 14.
Edmondson hit hard, but hangs on and gets the pass away to Harris.
Aussies electing to press now as opposed to dropping back in the key.
A very disciplined squad, this Australian team. Able to switch and change defense quite effectively. Here comes Simard now, gets her on the right side. He's hit by Harris. Looking for an outlet, finds Whitehead. Whitehead has to get it over quickly to Lavoie. Great communication by Lavoie to let him know he was there. And that may have looked like a hope play, but Lavoie told him what to do, and he did it.
And Whitehead knew exactly where he was, because you can basically count all the people that are in front of you. If he knows there's 4 Australians in the area, he knows somebody's open.
See, Whitehead knew that was going to happen before it happened. So
yeah, he felt Riley was coming in for the hit, so he knew someone was open.
Great communication by Team Canada. And boy, it's tough to stop Riley Batt, though. He is so quick. He may be the fastest player at the tournament.
Oh, he's up there with the fastest of players out there, that's for sure.
Whitehead spins away from Harris.
Another 2-on-1 situation here.
Comes down the right side, 2-on-1 with Lavoie. Nice little pass. And good timing by Lavoie to just wait, and then attack when he knew the pass was coming.
This is what the Canadians want. They want to pressure the Deuces with the ball and hopefully get something out of that.
So Lavoie is double teamed deep in the court.
It's getting to be around that time where teams are thinking about clock management. Aussie's scoring at 55.
So Lavoie calls inbounder, and that'll give Canada a chance to set up their press break. Samard frees up Whitehead. He's tracked down by Riley Batt. Again, Lavoie double team back court. Rodriguez coming over to pick Batt. Unfortunately, Canada forced to call that player timeout. And Coach Cote calling the squad over. Take a moment here to thank the hotel sponsors, Ian. And you've stayed at the Sheraton Vancouver Airport and the Hilton Vancouver Airport, and also the Vancouver Airport Marriott many times at Canada Cups and at training camps. They've done a great job of supporting this event over the years. This event's held every 2 years, the World Championship and Paralympic years. It's the preeminent invitational tournament in the world. Here comes Whitehead now, left side, hit by Batt, gets it off to Lavoie, tipped away, and into the hands of Riley Batt. Nice little tip by Harris there. And Canada really got to find a way to stop these turnovers.
Aussies will be holding for last goal here. They'll probably take a stab at around 8 seconds or so.
So Batt creates a bit of space. Canada extends a little bit. Now they'll try to push him in to give themselves as much time as possible, but 3.7 seconds, not a lot of time.
Canadians will probably just get it in.
Well, they tried the Hail Mary in.
Well, one thing can happen is once you get the ball in, you can try to just heave it down court in hopes that maybe it bounce off an Aussie chair, and then you can get another inbound right in the corner with maybe 1 second left.
And we'll take a moment here at the break. 17-12 Australia leading in the bronze medal game here at the 2018 Canada Cup for wheelchair rugby, and we'll thank a few more sponsors. Local 258 of the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Engineers, Hollister Medical and Continence Care, and also Vesco Metalcraft to make custom rugby wheelchairs. And in fact, between the bronze medal and the gold medal games, Ian, there's going to be a live auction of a complete wheelchair rugby setup, wheels, straps, ball, chair, everything you need to get going in wheelchair rugby, and that's compliments of Vesco. The funds raised, though, go to wheelchair rugby programs here in BC and Canada.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit. The Vesco Metalcraft has been a long-time sponsor of this event, and they also have a number of sponsored athletes here at this event. A couple Canadians that are sponsored by Vesco Metalcraft, and Mike Whitehead and Fabian Lavoie. Also a number of athletes in the gold medal game coming up between Japan and USA that are a number of Vesco sponsored athletes. So they are definitely a big presence in the sport of wheelchair rugby.
And we take a look at Coach Cote providing some technical information to his squad, presumably talking about how to manage the ball to eliminate those turnovers and how to get the ball out of Riley Batt's hands. And a few minutes before that, we saw the RCMP show up here. I don't know if they're looking for you, Ian, or whether it's me they're looking for.
I don't know what you're trying to say, Tim.
But they're in their full dress uniform, so they'll be part of the pageantry that happens around the gold medal game and the medal presentations.
Brouhaha going on in the beer garden.
And maybe that little kid there came to check the ID.
Well, the Aussies back with the bat and bond combo that we've been accustomed to.
So the high-low, Chris Bond having a tremendous tournament. And while we're talking about him, I'll give a shout out to Bridie Keane down in Australia, one of my favorite wheelchair basketball players. I know she's watching. Lavoie looking for an opening, finds Hirschfeld backing in. And how many times have you seen that play, Hirschfeld backing in like that?
Well, you do see that a lot because every now and when they put so much pressure on the high pointers, every now and then you'll see the low pointers sneaking in for a goal there.
And Chris Bond makes his presence felt immediately. Plays for the Queensland Cyclones and has also played with the Texas Stampede, so spent a bit of time in North America. As did Bridie, I think. She played at University of Illinois.
Nice push by Lavoie.
Lavoie, oh, what a fake by Lavoie. He just spun Riley Bat around, and Riley Bat would be looking to pick up his tires off the floor after that one.
All it took was a little shimmy. We'll see if Riley Bat tries to return the favor here.
So here comes Bat.
Oh.
Pass up to Bond. He is interfered with by Lavoie, but not enough. That interference play is it's a fine line between a spin and interference, but when it's done correctly, it's very effective.
And some of these really able players in their 3-5s have the function to actually hop their chair a little bit. And these spins that may affect some other players, like a deuce, for example, don't have the same effect on these 3-5s who can actually hop their chair and kind of negate any sort of advantage from a spin.
And a great pass by Caldwell. He got hit hard by Bat and still got the ball away. And there's that bump pass that you like to see the other team going to that because it's an opportunity to pick the ball off. It's not quite as accurate as the throw in.
Right, and the Aussies seem to have full confidence in Fawcett's bump because he inbounds whenever he gets transition, and they have no problem with him inbounding.
Zane into the game as well. There's a pass over the top to Lavoie, out of the outstretched hands of Chris Bond. Canada with a 3-on-2. Bond goes down. Does he get a penalty for this? Because he did kind of land on Caldwell's lap, I think.
So if there was a penalty call, like a reach, for example, then he would be in the box. If it's just a fallen player and they blew the whistle, and they'll usually blow the whistle on a fallen player if they feel he's in danger. And in that particular case, Chris Bond was right in front of Cody Caldwell's bumper, and if he moved, obviously he might have run him over. So then they just call a fallen player, and no penalty or anything.
And that's indeed what happened. And we just saw the replay there of that hit. The Bat laid on Caldwell, and great job by Cody Caldwell to get the pass away. He's having a strong tournament as well.
Oh, very much so.
And it was a penalty, so Bond's in the penalty box. Here comes Lavoie now. Canada getting set up for the transition.
Canadians setting up a trap on Bond, but not really a point in trapping Bond, knowing that he's been inbounding the whole time.
So they will triple Riley Bat, and Lavoie will try to check both Ozan and Fawcett. Bat somehow gets away. I guess with 3 players, there's still one direction you can always sneak away from.
On the far end of the court, you see Riley Bat and the .5s trying to work on Fabien Lavoie. Now the .5s peel off with Riley Bat just soloing Fabien.
So no timeout called. Instead, it'll be a turnover.
It was an attempt at give and go between Morale and Hirschfeld. Hirschfeld may have wanted to execute a little more patience there, waiting for Morale to get back on the court before he gave it back to him.
Just a friendly tip from a veteran player who now does coaching. Riley Bat is double teamed, and I think Morale may have reached in and made contact on the arms.
Yeah, it looked like they gave the penalty to Morale. You'll see the Aussies trying to plan for the next play. They'll most likely try to tie up Fabien Lavoie in one way or another. And if they can't get Fabien Lavoie, they'll try to get the .5s to clamp down on one person. Looks like they're going after Cody Caldwell here.
So it's an interesting tactical strategy here. You know you're going to score on the power play, right? Yeah. And so now you're setting up for transition. Sorry, Ian.
Well, it looks like Cody Caldwell is going to call inbounder because he was trapped.
Nice pass by Hirschfeld over the top to Morale. He's tracked down by Riley Batt. Lavoie wants to join him. Nice pick by Hirschfeld. Lavoie with a burst of speed. And it'll be Caldwell trailing the play who has the ball. He finds Lavoie, right side, just in behind Ben Fawcett. Nice job by, oh sorry.
Well, yeah, could be. If Canadians can't deny Riley Batt the ball, at least if he is going to get the ball, they'd like to corral him into a bad spot, in the corners, in the sidelines, near the baseline.
Yeah, they had him bottled up down there, but when Australia has Chris Bond in the game, it's almost like having two Riley Batts out there, really. I mean, he really is maneuverable as well. And, looked like Riley Batt's strap came loose, and in his enthusiasm to try to block that pass, he ends up in Fabien Lavoie's lap.
The Canadians did a good job of spacing there, knowing that Batt and Bond trying to run 2-on-3. They had Fabien Lavoie and the two deuces basically forming a triangle in order to make it difficult for Batt and Bond to cover that much real estate.
So now Canada will set up in their transition. Lavoie looks over his shoulder to make sure that his teammates are ready. Bond has asked for equipment, or no, Batt, I mean, has asked for an equipment timeout to try to fix that loose strap, and I think it'll be a sub being.
Here we go, we got more subs. Canada Cup rookies coming back in Shane Smith and Eric, number 41. Great experience for them in a bronze medal game of this magnitude.
That's exactly what the Canada Cup is for, and Shane Smith, of course, no stranger to international competition, as he played basketball for Canada on the U23 team at 2 World Championships, 05 and 09, I believe it was. Letourneau, give and go with Caldwell. There's Smith with the ball now. He turns away from Edmondson. Pass up ahead to Caldwell. Caldwell's going to have to track it down. He does. He ends up going out of bounds, and that'll be it for timeouts for Canada.
Well, again, obviously Canada would like to save that timeout for later on in the game, maybe in the second half. But if Cody Caldwell didn't call a timeout there, it would have resulted in turnover. So,
and it's also, I guess, you know, when you're sort of down in the game like this, you really want to actually play the way you would in a close game. And if it was a close game, you would make that call.
Exactly. Your coach, Tim, you want to stick to the process, right?
That's exactly it. Caldwell now gets away from Nicholson. Nice pick by Mike Whitehead. Caldwell finds an opening and right down the middle. And thanks to Whitehead for that, and of course Shane Smith over in the corner drawing Fawcett wide.
The Aussies continuing with that corner trap on Shane Smith by Ryan Scott, a 0.5 taking out a 2.5. After Bond scores, most likely Shane Smith's going to call it inbound. We'll see whether this hurts the Canadians at all or not.
In fact, he did. You know, that's one thing that the rookies got to learn, is not to put yourself in those positions where they end line the sideline and one player can effectively trap you. Here comes Whitehead now. Nice pass from Smith. Rodriguez, interference, picked by Smith. Not sure what the call is right there.
Takes a reach on number 14. He got a hand of the ball as Mike White was just about to make that pass.
I was already looking ahead to the pass receiver.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in a wheelchair rugby game.
Whitehead there. Australia trying to kill this penalty off with some aggressive defense, but instead it'll be Shane Smith on the pass by Caldwell, and Canada will set up their defense. Opportunity here with Riley Batt out of the game to get some momentum.
Yeah, Canadians would like to capitalize on the fact that Riley Batt is out of the game. Otherwise, Riley Bat's just going to get his rest and come on like a new man.
So Chris Bond finds the space left side, and down he goes. And there's a lot of contact at center court. Shane Smith back to Caldwell. Nice little give and go there. Nice move by Caldwell to get past Edmondson. Now it'll be 2-on-1. Whitehead with Shane Smith, and nice pass by Whitehead right into the breadbasket of young Shane Smith. I guess all these guys are young to me, though. So he's actually a veteran player. Yeah.
Well, so what was that? Was that checked out, I think? I think that's still Aussie ball. Looked like Canadians got a hand on it, but it was checked out of bounds. So.
There's a young wheelchair rugby fan there in the background. Chris Bond tracked down by Caldwell and Smith. He's having a bit of trouble getting over center, but he does.
Nice patience by Chris Bond there, knowing that he still had plenty of time to get over half. Not rushing anything by making any errant bad passes or anything like that.
There's the give and go to Rodriguez from Caldwell. And Caldwell will get some room to move. Whitehead hit by Nicholson, gets it up to Shane Smith. Smith gets away from Edmondson and finds Caldwell, and that's a beautiful pick and roll.
Shane Smith showing some experience and savviness there with his patience and accurate pass.
So Canada has got Bond trapped, but they let him go. Edmondson, right side. He's hit hard by Whitehead and Caldwell, protecting the ball, gets it off to Chris Bond. Bond pushes his way around. Great defense by Rodriguez there. As Bond is still tied up, but he gets away and rolls in for the try. We're approaching that magical 2-minute mark. How many thousands of 2-minute drills did you do, Ian, in your playing career?
Repetition after repetition after repetition. That's the only way to play
nice
sound fundamental rugby is through repetition.
Picked by Rodriguez there to free up Shane Smith. And I'm sure that on the Toronto Titans, they probably worked together that play a few times. Nicholson now into Edmondson. He is trapped by Caldwell, but I think Caldwell looked like he used his elbow to sort of impede his progress. Nicholson now to Bond. Bond's coming up the left side. Takes his time, waiting for his team to get set up. We know we're going to score probably on the power play here, about 99.99% chance.
Teams generally want to get something out of every penalty situation. So if they're not going to trap the penalty or whoever's in the penalty box, knowing that they're going to inbound, they're going to get something on the court by tying up number one, such as Mike Whitehead here.
Nice pass by Whitehead over the top to Shane Smith. He's tracked down by Nicholson, and nice play by Nicholson to impede Smith's progress.
You can see Nicholson's defensive presence there, chasing someone down. With his picking chair, he's very tough to get around once he gets a stop on you.
If I'm not mistaken, he's a class 2, so playing in a defensive style chair gives him a bit of advantage with that speed. So Bond guilty of reaching in. Canada will go to the power play here.
Yeah, Canadians will most likely get the ball in, try to set up a trap on Bond, thereby forcing him to inbound. Once he does inbound, there's only 4.5 points versus Canadians 8 on the ensuing inbound. Canadians most likely going to press. Ideally, they would like to execute a double, single, single. Looks like that's what they're setting up for. Ryan Scott, the Aussie .5, knows exactly what's going on in this situation, putting himself in position for a give and go in case Bond needs him.
And that magical 55-second mark is missed by 0.7 of a second, but that's all right.
Technical. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, big. You rarely see that called. So what my understanding is that they set up a trap on Chris Bond in the penalty box. The person in front trying to trap has to give him 1 meter to get on. Chris Bond then has to come on the court, but
within that meter radius.
Within that meter, yes. Yeah, or a 45-degree angle. And if he deviates from that path, goes down a sideline, for example, or something like that, they're going to call it technical. Oh. I think that was off Canada. Ooh.
Australia will maintain possession, and so this is something we don't see too terribly often because of that technical foul. Australia is playing 3-on-4. They're shorthanded with possession of the ball. Great opportunity here for Canada for a steal.
8 points on 2.5 right now. We'll see how Aussies play this. Oh.
Right into the hands of Cody Caldwell, and he finds a streaking Shane Smith. And Canada getting set up for a transition. And that's a good little momentum shift for Team Canada. That technical foul has helped them out. Whitehead will. And you can hear the Canadian team counting things down. Canada wants to make sure that Australia doesn't get a chance to score going into the end of the first half here, thereby creating any momentum. So good job by Canada to bring it back. Now down by 4.
Yeah, great
they
play.
were down by 6 at one point. And that will do it for the first half here in the bronze medal game at the 2018 Canada Cup for wheelchair rugby. I don't know what century I'm in. Coming to you on SportsCanada.TV. It's also going to be broadcast, or is broadcast, on Facebook, Canadian Paralympic Team. Putting this live on Facebook as well as on Twitter, Wheelchair Rugby Canada as well. And Ian, Canada down by 4. What can we expect Coach Cote to talk about at the halftime break, and what changes they have to make in order to get back in this game?
Well, if I were Coach Cote, I wouldn't want to dwell on maybe some of the turnovers that happened early on in the game. You might want to just acknowledge them, maybe recognize part of the process, how those turnovers happen, but you don't want to dwell on it. You want to move on to the next play. We got another half to go, and treat it like a new game, as if the score is 0-0. And you want the Canadians to stick to the process, play hard, and we'll see what happens.
And if you're Coach Dribbley on the other side, I mean, here you have the reigning world and Paralympic championship team going into world championships where they're actually hosting. They can't afford to take those undisciplined penalties.
Right. They want to play disciplined rugby as well, even though they feel they might have an advantage on paper, meaning that they just have a little more talent than the Canadian team does on paper. They still want to play good fundamental rugby, because what happens when they face a really top-tier team, like, say, for example, a Team USA or Team Japan, who are playing in the gold medal game today. If they were to face a team like one of those teams, they have to play good, sound rugby. Otherwise, they're going to get crushed.
All right, and we will remind you, upcoming at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here in sunny Richmond, British Columbia at the Olympic Oval. We will have that gold medal game. USA undefeated at the tournament. In fact, they have won every Canada Cup they've ever entered, and that's 5 of the first 7, and they're going to go for their 6th one here. Japan, the upstart, really making some great progress as they climb up the world ladder, winning the bronze in Rio, and they're going to be looking to take a step up with Coach Kevin Orr, who you're very familiar with.
Yeah, no, Coach Kevin Orr coached us Canadians for some time. I was also on the other side of the team where he was coaching Team USA, and I was part of Team Canada. So I know Kevin Orr quite well in terms of his coaching style and philosophy. And he's obviously doing a great job with Team Japan, and because the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, Japan doing very, very well. So we're a couple of minutes away here from the start of the second half in this bronze medal game, looking for Canada to make a bit of a run and make a comeback. And let's talk about our funding partners, the Government of Canada, of course, helping make this event possible. This is the premier event, isn't it, Ian, in the world for, it's the last one before World Championships, I understand. It's the one, it's the most prestigious one. And, you know, we've got the top 4 teams in the world here. And that's a testament to the importance of this tournament. Richmond Sport hosting the Government of BC, of course, through our Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, the Richmond Olympic Oval, Sheraton Vancouver Airport Hotel, the Hilton Vancouver Airport Hotel, Vancouver Airport Marriott Hotel. Takes a lot of hotels to house all these teams. Vesco Metalcraft, Hollister, and Local 258 of the IBEW, not to mention SportsCanada.TV. And of course, the Canadian Paralympic team is streaming the games on their Facebook page and through Twitter. So I do have an Instagram account, but I can't figure out how it works, so I'm only good with Facebook and Twitter.
You sound like my old man. He has an Instagram account too, but he has no idea. He can barely work email.
And speaking of your old man, today is Father's Day here in North America.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Absolutely. And the second half underway here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. Possession to Australia. Riley Batt back in the game. And he'll get the penalty try. Boy, he hits hard. He forced the Canadian player right over the end line there.
This is going to be a good test for the Canadians. We got, again, some Canada Cup rookies out there, and Eric, the .5, and Shane. We'll see how they stand up to this Aussie pressure.
Well, Rodriguez doing a great job of picking. He set that back screen on Batt to allow Lavoie to get open for the pass in the first place, and then he sets another one to allow Lavoie to score.
Well, the Canadians will be relying on Fabien Lavoie to take some of that pressure off of their rookies and Shane Smith and Eric. He'll be carrying the workload here offensively for the Canadians.
So Canada with full court pressure. Fawcett trying to find Batt or Bond. They're covered. Bond finally slips through. And he gets the ball, gets the ball up to Bond, and Canada will be forced to have Rodriguez call inbounder as he was trapped deep in the court.
We'll see how this plays out. Canadians electing not to use a bench in order to maybe bail out Eric Rodriguez from a potential inbound.
And that was the fear, I suppose, going into that play, as Rodriguez, the rookie, you know, he'll learn a great lesson from this experience, though. You know, you get to play against Riley Batt and Chris Bond. Wow.
Right. I mean, he'll learn from all these experiences, and he's only going to get better from this point on.
So Lavoie corrals that one. He's double teamed by Batt and Bond. Here comes Rodriguez for the pick. Nice move by Lavoie, a little dipsy doodle there as he faked one way, went the other way, looking for an opening. And it looks like 4 players in the key. A little bit of miscommunication by Australia. Ozane will go to the box. And it's a nice little momentum shift for Canada to get that call, because that means that your opponents are in a bit of disarray. But they need to get some turnovers here to be able to claw back in.
They need to rally the troops. Canadians should look to try to get something out of this penalty situation, even though it is a .5 in the penalty box. Again, you can always try to get something out of the penalty. A little dicey pass there.
Nice grab by Smith, as that one certainly challenged his catching range. Here comes Riley Batt now down the middle, getting up some momentum. And he's stopped by Lavoie and Caldwell. Nice play by Canada, but Bond wide open on the left side. Great job by Batt to get that pass away as he was being jostled. Here comes Lavoie. Caldwell bobbled that one, but managed to maintain possession. He really does actually do a great job of not allowing that center line to put him in trouble. What a play by Cody Caldwell.
Nice patience. He knew exactly where he was. He got right up the center line, didn't commit to the getting over the center line by putting himself in the danger zone, showed some incredible patience and vision, made the right pass.
And that's one of Riley Batt's favorite moves, is to try to hit somebody at center and force the over and back. Good heads up play by Caldwell. And back the other way comes Chris Bond. With those two speedy characters out there, Ian, Australia sometimes gets the opportunity to score some easier tries.
No, there's no doubt that Batt and Bond are obviously drawing a lot of attention. But let's not forget that the Aussies play within a very disciplined system. They work together as a unit. I mean, it might seem like Riley Batt and Bond are carrying the load, but the truth is their .5s are working within their system. They're working to their players' strengths and weaknesses, and they work as a collective unit.
What a play by Lavoie that time. Fakes as if he's going to drive over the line, then dishes over the top to Caldwell. Canada really needing the turnovers here, but Riley Batt able to get free from that double team deep in the court. And Chris Bond able to get him the ball.
The Aussies doing their drop back in the key again. We'll see if they pounce at center line or not. Here they come.
Here they come, yeah.
Hey-o.
Oh, Riley Batt will go to the box for that one for sure. And, you know, we've seen Batt throughout this entire tournament play very, very disciplined. And in this game, all of a sudden, out of the blue, we'll take a look at
we'll see the replay here.
The spinning penalty. You know, he doesn't have position.
So that little nudge behind the axle.
That's a dangerous play as well. And
so if you see a play like that happen right on the baseline, a lot of times you'll see a flagrant call. But then if you see it happen anywhere within the middle of the court or anything like that, you rarely see that being called as a flagrant, even though they're very similar plays.
Yeah, in a crowd, I would imagine there's a greater opportunity to get injured by other chairs. And if they're as well made as the Vesco chairs, you know, they're not going to give when the body hits them.
Oh, those Vesco chairs hit very hard. I mean, obviously they're very well built and can obviously withstand a licking. Riley Batt electing to inbound here. Canadians would ideally try to deny, at the very least force a give and go, deny Bond that first touch.
Bond does a good job of getting away from Simard and Lavoie. I don't know how he got through that hole, but he continues to impress here. Chris Bond having a very good tournament as well. And I suppose when you're arguably the second threat on the team and you're that fast, that's a real advantage.
Well, I'm sure Chris Bond and Riley Batt, they understand their roles. They know that Riley Batt provides another element of defensive presence, and they try to give Riley Batt as many opportunities as possible to run 1-on-2. But every now and then they got to switch and have Bond be that defensive presence and let him run 1-on-2. And Bond is quite competent in his own right and obviously can create some turnovers on his own as well.
So Canada with a nifty goal by Caldwell on the left side that time. The 3-on-2. Again, attempting to force the turnovers. They hit Batt right on the pass, which is about the best time to hit somebody. But Chris Bond is free in the deep court.
So the .5's locked up Pico, number 12. Pico electing to inbound because he didn't want to get doubled out of the play and not be able to contribute to the inbound. Pico does have great range for a one-pointer and a great bump. Canadian's not worried about his lack of range.
Not to mention that experience, and Travis Morale is bumped by Riley Batt. He's got to get rid of the ball as a 12-second violation looming.
Well, guaranteed Morale would have called a timeout had the Canadians had another bailout, but he was forced to make that pass.
And, you really want that ball to go out of bounds at the other end of the court. And
exactly. If you know the 12 seconds going to run out and you have no timeouts left, you might as well just bomb it to the other end. At the very least, the other team has to inbound from the far corner.
So Bat and Bond wreaking havoc on the Canadian team here. But Caldwell wisely staying wide, getting a good angle, and able to score the try for Canada.
Once the ball comes into Riley Bat always either tries to ground game it or be a threat to ground game, thereby either pushing coast to coast or opening a wheeling lane for Bond, who's coming flying off the inbound.
We pretty well have to have two players trying to slow him down, which leaves somebody open.
Yeah, the Aussies are very tough to stop once the ball is in.
Lavoie over the top to Morale. Nice grab by Travis Morale. He's hit hard by Fawcett and Bond. Being pushed around and ball tipped away. Morale getting really jostled in there. Australians very aggressive, and one of the things about Team Canada, we see right there is Morale's jostled, and Fawcett may have got a hand on his elbow, but
well, see,
that's
both
the way it goes.
Bond and Fawcett knew that he was eventually going to have to dribble within the 10-second window. Morale feeling that pressure, trying to get the dribble off while he's getting hit and turned, resulted in a direct turnover there.
And we're in a timeout situation here, so we'll take the opportunity to thank SportsCanada.TV for doing such a great job on the broadcast here. And in fact, stay tuned, everybody. In just over an hour's time, it'll be the gold medal game, undefeated USA against the upstart Japan. Japan ranked 4th in the world, but realistically, their performance lately, they'll be moving up that ladder.
Yeah, their performance shows that they might very well be higher than their fourth place ranking.
A big hit by Bat on Lavoie. Lavoie hangs on and gets the pass up to Mike Whitehead. And Mike Whitehead's a good hitter as well. So Canada's got some hitting in the game now. We'll see if that can change their fortunes. There's a hit by Whitehead, forcing Edmondson to make a tough pass. Bat slowed down. Bat loses the ball. Great turnover opportunity. Lavoie right on top of that one.
Nice flip by Fabien Lavoie. He's got some quick hands. Probably going to call an equipment as I see his right axle out.
And that was a great play by Samard to slow Riley Bat down. Then Lavoie with the quick reach in. Wow, what a play by Fabien Lavoie. He's had a tremendous event here.
No doubt. Well, Coach Duberly putting the Batman back in, relieving Bond of his duties. When Bond was on there, that lineup had no turnovers. Aussies turning the ball over in the last possession.
Big hit by Lavoie on Harris, spins him around. Harris finds Riley Bat. I think Mike Whitehead was a little bit disappointed in himself there. He did a flyby instead of a trap.
Aussies putting a lot of pressure on this inbound by the Canadians.
Hirschfeld, nice little inbounds to Lavoie. And Canada here with a little bit of a spark. Opportunity to get back in this one with 3.5 to go in the third. Edmondson. Dangerously at center, but gets the ball to Riley Bat. He's tripled. He's going to have to pass. Now Whitehead comes over to track down Edmondson. Nifty little over-the-top pass to Riley Bat, who was free, and nothing Hirschfeld could do about that.
Curious to see whether the Canadians would drop back in the key at any point, knowing that they might have a speed mismatch with Riley Bat on the floor. They also have the personnel and some height in Mike Whitehead and Fabien Lavoie, who can potentially get them hands on some passes if they're playing some key defense.
So Riley Bat playing an uncharacteristic, undisciplined game here. Goes to the penalty box again. Great job by Hirschfeld to protect the ball. he knew he was going to get hit by Riley Batt, and Batt trying for the steal. Instead, gets a little breather.
Canadians got to work hard in transition, try to get something out of this inbound.
And they'll put 2 players on Riley Batt to force him to call inbounder. Smart play by Canada.
Riley Batt usually races down to the baseline in order to inbound as to avoid the Canadians setting up any sort of set defense.
Canada denied defense. Edmondson gets the ball back to Riley Batt. Nice give and go. You know, in a lot of different sports that use the inbounding technique, often the inbounder is the one that, you know, is not really guarded as closely, and they get the ball back. And
right, I agree. See, the ball carrier usually draws so much attention that people forget about the inbounder leaking out.
I think I made a career on that, out of that. Lavoie now turns away from Batt. Gets hooked by Harris.
Canadians looking
Gets
to
it
make
to
a pass
Whitehead.
here.
Here comes Hirschfeld now to bail out his team on that 12-second call. He's pressured, protects the ball. Nifty little bounce pass to Whitehead, and Whitehead already knew that Simard was open right side, just inside the post. What a play.
How can you not love those low pointer plays, man? See, to me, Trevor Hirschfeld tripled there, still manages to get a backhand pass out of a triple team. And to me, in my mind, those sick plays by low pointers are the same thing as Riley Batt going coast to coast, wheeling through the entire team. Both requiring a tremendous amount of athleticism. They're just different plays.
And Hirschfeld, of course, co-captain of the team. And he's had a storied career and continues to do so. And Lavoie over the top to Mike Whitehead as they shred that Australian zone defense. Riley Batt slowed down. Harris manages to tie up Lavoie.
We knew we'd see this at some point. The Aussies dropping back in the key. Let's see if they exercise their half-court trap. Doesn't look like it. Trusting their key defense.
They're extended outside the key, all 4 players. So there should be an opening there for Canada, and there it is.
Nice play by Fabian Lavoie, being aggressive, drawing over Riley Batt in order to make that pass.
Batt does a nice job to get free.
Batt also does a good job of communicating when he wants the ball, because he recognizes those openings. And he also wants to make sure that he's in sync with his inbounder so there's no errant passes.
Australia switching up the defense here.
Well, they're doing their half-court trap. You just got to show some patience as you get to center, not overcommit to anything.
Nice job by Mike Whitehead to find the gaps and then find Trevor Hirschfeld.
We're in and around that time where teams are thinking about clock management. 1:09 left on the clock.
Hirschfeld having a good game here for Team Canada. Here comes Edmondson. Gets the ball up to Riley Batt. Tracked down by Lavoie. Nice job by Lavoie. And that'll be a penalty try. Lavoie almost got there.
Nice hustle by Lavoie.
And we'll take a look at this nifty pass by Edmondson just to the outside of Riley Batt. And here comes Lavoie steaming down. If he did one more push, he may have gotten there.
Actually, that was a nice hustle play because I think that resulted in a penalty try, thereby denying the Aussies holding and trying to. They would probably like to score at around 55 to 52. Riley probably would have waited on the baseline and ran the clock down a little bit. Canadians now have an opportunity to score between 55 and 52 if they can.
Simard was open far side, but Lavoie couldn't get him the ball. Lavoie spins away from Harris, gets hit hard, gets the ball away to Whitehead. Back to Lavoie. He's hooked by Harris, but makes it across with 39.9 seconds. Not exactly desirable, but.
So shot clock's dead. Canadians want to Ooh.
Oh, great opportunity for a turnover.
Canadians want to pressure, but they don't want to take a penalty here because they'll essentially hand Australia the last goal. But they do want the ball out of Riley's hands. Riley does want to just keep the ball in ground game if possible.
So a lot of players tied up here. Whitehead, who's one of the better defenders, is hooked by Harris. He gets free, though.
Great play to free up Whitehead.
And then they'll force Bat to score. No, they don't. I think Simard went out of bounds, so he'll actually get the penalty.
So they called a penalty instead of a penalty try because they felt the ball carrier wasn't actively trying to score in that very moment. 7 seconds left on the clock. Aussies.
So Canada's going to have 2 players in the box.
Very heads-up play by Riley Bat there, recognizing the penalty situation. Thereby putting Pico, number 12, in the box. Canadians down by 2.
So it'll be up to Whitehead and Hirschfeld. And
they might put pressure on the inbound again, knowing that there's
3 on 4. So
exactly. This could, they got the height advantage with Fabian. They'll probably just get the ball in and run the clock out here.
Oh, I don't know whose hand that touched. I think it touched the Australian last, according to the referee's signal.
Canadians still in trouble here.
Fabian has to call
no timeouts.
Inbounder.
Yep. So at the very least, Fabian, they don't want it to sail. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. So without any timeouts, and if Fabian didn't have any outlets, he would have most likely just thrown it off someone's chair in order to get the clock to start running.
A nice play by Riley Bat to tip that pass away. Or else Canada would have gone down and scored.
Canada could still very well be in trouble at the beginning of the 4th quarter, too. It is their possession arrow, and they will be starting with
one player down.
Yeah, one player down. Could be in trouble. Well, first they got to get out of this mess. Oh, what?
Oh, and a great play by Hirschfeld.
What a brain fart by the Aussies there. Canadians shorthanded.
I mean, that is, as far as I can tell, the first shorthanded goal in the game. Unfortunately, Australia with a lot of time. Here comes Lavoie.
Over
check Bat. No call. That was very, very close to an over and back. As Team Canada with some momentum here at the end of the 3rd quarter, Ian.
That was really close over and back. I would like to see that replay. But imagine if the Canadians got a 2-for-1 there shorthanded. The Canadian bench would be going cuckoo bananas.
I mean, that's got to be a rarity in wheelchair rugby. Is first of all, scoring shorthanded, but then scoring 2 shorthanded would have been some kind of Guinness Book of Records situation. And at the break, going into the 4th, we will thank BC Wheelchair Sports Association. Wheelchair Rugby Canada recently rebranded. We had a great celebration in Canada last year, Ian. 40 years of wheelchair rugby, 50 years of the Canadian Wheelchair Sports Association, and 70 years since wheelchair sports really started up, or Paralympic sports started up in Canada. And now Canadian Wheelchair Sports is now known as Wheelchair Rugby Canada. And we'll say it once again, the inventor, or one of the inventors of the sport of murder ball, which is now known as wheelchair rugby, Duncan Campbell, is actually, he did the color commentary in the 5th versus 6th game, but he's the guy that recruited you out of rehab, GF Strong there to play wheelchair rugby, and what a great job he did recruiting players, and what a great job he's done developing the game around the world.
No, I remember that time when I was kind of in limbo a little bit after my injury. I wasn't really involved in sport at the very beginning, and I remember Duncan Campbell was just persistent. Just kept calling me. I was like, I don't really want to come out to practice. I just want to have fun. And sure enough, his persistence paid off because I eventually made that leap and started coming out to practice and dedicating myself to the sport of wheelchair rugby.
And what a career you've had, Ian. 20 years plus on the national team. World championship.
20 years seems so long, but yeah, no,
multiple Paralympic experiences, and
no regrets. I had a great experience.
And now coaching and giving back to the game.
So Canadian shorthanded here. Great range on Morale's inbound.
Good play by Caldwell to get away from Riley Batt.
Canadians are in tough here.
Morale turns away from Batt. Good movement by Team Canada to create some space. Big hit by Whitehead. Finds
nice post.
Caldwell posting up, and he backs in for the try. That's another shorthanded goal or try for Canada, which really is, that's got to be a great confidence boost going into World Championships.
Yeah, that requires a tremendous amount of fight, knowing that you're shorthanded. And you got to fight against those odds to get that score or try.
So Edmondson will roll in for Australia. Gap at 6 now, so Canada clawing their way back into this one. Tremendous third quarter. And a good start to the fourth. Here comes Whitehead. Gets away from Batt. Looking for a teammate to get open. Instead, takes it himself over the center line.
Whitehead
just bowls his way
push.
past Edmondson. Yeah. And then dishes nicely to Morale. What a play by Mike Whitehead out of Windsor, Ontario. He's the head coach for Canada's Invictus team, so great to see players like yourself and Adam Frost, of course, and Mike Whitehead and numerous others getting into coaching. Now you know what we went through all those years.
Yes, I have a newfound appreciation for the coaching profession.
Riley Batt finds some room on the left side and uses his speed. Great little double screen by Edmondson and Harris.
Nice transition by the Aussies,
Harrison,
forcing number 8 Whitehead to inbound. Let's see if the Aussies can get anything out of this.
But when you've got Morale and Caldwell out there, they've got great receiving abilities. So Canada with 2 receivers, even with Whitehead throwing it in.
Sick play by Morale, receiving that pass, using his head to corral that pass, and then pushing as hard as he can to finish off that play.
Big hit by Whitehead, and that's what we like to see. Here's a hit by Morale. Whitehead hits again. Riley Batt forced a pass to Harrison. He's hit by Caldwell. Harrison in a bit of trouble, dishes to Riley Batt. Hit by Whitehead. Gets the ball over top to Edmondson just in time as he rolls over the line. Oh, great little give and go. 3-way give and go, really.
Nice ball movement by the Canadians. That's what the Canadians want to do. They want to move the ball as much as possible, quickly as possible, knowing that the ball travels faster than any one player can.
We see here Caldwell quickly give and go to Simard. Over the top to Whitehead, who was denied, but that's an advantage once the ball's in play. Another big hit by Whitehead. So Canada with a bit of momentum here as the fourth period gets going. Another give and go, this time to Caldwell. He's got some room right side. Batt comes over, and great play by Whitehead to corral that ball and hang on with one hand as he crosses the try line.
Canadians must have talked about it where they're moving the ball a lot faster and keeping their spacing, and it seems like it's paying off this quarter.
And it looks to me like they've been hitting a little bit more than they had earlier on in the game.
Well, maybe they feel their back is against the wall now. They still want to fight and compete, and you know, there's something to be said about people who hate to lose. I was one of those players, and there's a fine line between being a bad loser and hating to lose. And I always like my teammates who hate to lose and have that fight in them, because that's not to say we want people to be sore losers. You want to lose with class and dignity, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. But you always like to see teams fight, and the level of compete, or that compete level is what you want to see.
And the one thing about the teams at this tournament, has been rather obvious is no matter what the score is, the intensity right until the final whistle has been pretty incredible. And
amazing, yeah.
going into World Championships, I'm thinking about booking my ticket down there. So Riley Batt goes one-on-one against Travis Morale. Meanwhile, Whitehead is caught in the back court. Canada called for contact before the whistle.
So you see Mike Whitehead on the replay here. You can see that he's transitioned way deep. Aussie's doing a great job in transition. Cody Caldwell called for the contact as he was trying to free up Mike Whitehead from the double.
So that'll be a warning, I suppose, the first time.
Yep, any other contact before the whistle on the offensive side after this point is going to result in a turnover.
Batt tried to hook Whitehead, but Whitehead just too strong. Nice little pick, or seal, I should say, right side by Hirschfeld.
Nice transition by the Canadians here, forcing Riley Batt to get the ball way low.
They've got him trapped
Probably
deep
got
in the
a
court.
timeout here, yep.
And he calls the player timeout. So nice play by Team Canada. That's a little bit of a momentum boost as well. Canada playing very well here, the early going of the fourth. Take a look at the replay of that little seal by Riley Batt. Just turns away as Whitehead fakes the gap. And while he does that, Hirschfeld sneaks in behind the wily veteran.
Right,
And
heads
then
up play
right
too.
away,
Exactly, that's
right
transition.
away, pressures Batt. He and Morale have got Riley Batt tied up,
And you know, we've said it before, a lot of these games are won and lost between the whistles, and that's an example of great transition. Hirschfeld not looking to rest on his laurels after that score, turns around, plays defense right away.
no high fives there, just straight onto defense. Great transition by Trevor Hirschfeld. Plays for Team BC in the club league here in Canada. Here comes Edmondson now, left side. Whitehead just misses coming across for the big hit.
Canadians looking to get the deuces of Australia to handle the ball as much as possible, but number 14, Edmondson, very composed, never really rattled, always seems to make a very good decision.
Morale with a heads-up play to turn away from Batt. Oh boy, Whitehead is nailed, but he gets the ball away to Caldwell, left side. Excellent play by the Canadians to keep their spacing.
Canadians with some good transition again.
Here comes Edmondson now. He got free, and Team Canada wants the ball in his hands, but they don't want him in the open court. They want to be able to lay some hits and maybe reach in and get a steal.
Looks like the Canadians are getting ready to sub Fabien Lavoie back in whenever there's a stoppage in play.
So Canada setting up on offense. Morale taking his time. Sees a gap. Turns back. He's hit by Nicholson. Gets it back to Caldwell. Caldwell pushed by Fawcett. Hit by Batt, but Team Canada not able to get that pass over top to Travis Morale. And Canada there with some good play to get the opportunity. We'll see Caldwell spun around here, hit by Riley Batt. Ball goes into Whitehead. You can see Morale is open, but he's got to have his hands on the wheel so he doesn't get pushed over the line. And so it makes it a little bit tougher to receive that pass.
Yeah, that was a tough pass for Morale. Oh, could be an air pass? Timeout? Yeah.
So that'll be it for Australia's player timeouts. So that's even though we had that turnover, Ian, down at on the goal or the try line, that missed pass there, forcing the timeout, is a bit of a momentum shift for Team Canada.
Oh, for sure. Now that both teams have no timeouts, we're going to start to see teams bombing it deep when it gets close to the 12-second call. It's always interesting to see teams take more risks because people are so used to managing risk and not taking taking the undue risk if they don't have to. Once you have no timeouts, teams are forced to make plays that are usually not used to making.
So Lavoie gets hit and spun, and down he goes, and into the penalty box goes Edmondson. So opportunity here for Canada to score, get a bit of momentum, and hopefully force the turnovers.
Well, Aussies here trying to play some defense without taking a penalty, obviously, because they have a man in the box.
And here comes Canada. Lavoie left side. Turns away from Nicholson. Bat tries to track down Lavoie, but he gets the ball ahead to Cody Caldwell. Caldwell out of Cavan, Ontario, plays for the London Annihilators. He's been on the team since 2013.
This could work out for the Canadians when they make Edmondson inbound. Ball would have to come into Nicholson. Back to Edmondson.
And unfortunately, Riley Bat ends up with it eventually and streaks down the right side just inside the post.
Aussies going back in the key. We'll see if it's a pump fake or not.
Well, Bat is up as a one-man wrecking crew, and here come the Australians. Oh boy, that is a dangerous play. That might even be, oh man. I'm not sure what the referee is going to call here, whether it's just a regular penalty or whether it'll be a flagrant, but boy, oh boy. Lavoie, hopefully not hurt. We'll see the replay here as Lavoie is going pretty fast. Nice pick by Morale to free up.
Yeah. Fabian Lavoie top speed here. Riley Bat getting a piece of, just on the axle, maybe a hair behind the axle. But again, they rarely call any flagrants or anything like that when there's a spin call in the middle of the court. And they might have called that in one Canada Cup in a Canada versus USA game, but it's not always been called.
So Lavoie looks to be okay, and while he's getting back into playing position, we will thank the local 258 of IBEW, Hollister, Vesco Metalcraft, our 3 hotel sponsors, Sheraton Vancouver, Hilton Vancouver, and Vancouver Marriott, along with the Richmond Olympic Oval, Richmond Sport Hosting, Government of BC, and the Government of Canada. Great financial support and product support from all of those sponsors.
Canadians setting up their defense for the upcoming inbound with Batman inbounding. Brad Duberly calling a bench to bail out that scenario.
So we see the veteran Jason Lees in the game for Australia. He plays for Victoria Thunder down under.
What's his nickname, Tim?
Oh yeah, the Midnight Oil. That's good. And he has been on the team since 2009. And we'll remind you on SportsCanada.TV, Ian, upcoming at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, will be the Japan-USA gold medal game. USA undefeated. They've been in 5 of the previous 7 Canada Cups, won all 5, and are looking to keep their streak intact. Japan, the upstart group, moving up the world ranking slowly, 3rd in Rio. And here they are in the gold medal game leading up to the World Championships. And Mike Whitehead replaces Lavoie.
Aussies looking to go back in the key again. Most likely trying to eat up some clock. Right now the clock is their friend.
Hirschfeld with a little bump. Oh, that was a bit of a dangerous pass. Just inside, but Whitehead corrals it. Back to Morale, left side. Caldwell crosses. Morale crosses. Hirschfeld, meanwhile, slips the pick and rolls in for the try. Nice pass by Morale.
See if the Canadians can put some pressure on this lineup.
It is just about impossible to keep Riley Bat in check. He is just so quick, so maneuverable.
Oh, he's so tough to stop, so elusive.
And you know, the sad part for Team Canada, and every other team in the world is. He's only 28 years old, and he's been playing at this level. I seem to recall he was 15 or 16 the first time I saw him here at the Oval. He burst onto the scene.
Big target in Mike Whitehead. Always a threat to post. So hard to stop once he's in position.
Well, that is Whitehead's signature move, that
Back
post up and then
that's
back
his money
in
move.
post. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're looking for wheelchair rugby instructional videos, if you capture that clip, that is a classic by the veteran Whitehead. Here comes Edmondson now to bat. Bat gets free on a pick from Lees. Goes left side. Simard not able to track him down. Curls back to set up his transition. Gets pushed across the line by Simard. Or Dejanay, I should say, sorry. You got to correct me. I'm getting too overconfident with
Pico, number 12 is
Pico,
called
number
Pico.
Pico,
Another
yeah.
nickname for you.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I've known Pico for years. Sometimes it's hard to see the numbers. I got these new glasses, Ian, that are the transition lenses to reading glasses. And every once in a while, everything is blurry as I look through the middle.
Don't worry, Tam, I'll help you out.
And I don't wear them driving either because, man, I look through the wrong spot. And there's the double team on Hirschfeld. He protects the ball quite effectively. Bat tries to reach in.
I don't know what that call was.
I'm not sure what happened
I missed
there.
that, yeah.
And it'll be Australia ball. Lavoie back in the game. Big hit by Whitehead on bat. He gets the ball away just in time to Edmondson. And pretty good timing on that hit by Whitehead. Just as Bat was making the pass. That's the best time to hit someone.
And to Bat's credit, a heads-up play because he felt that hit coming and made the correct play. Another turnover here. I didn't see how that happened, but it looked like a fumbled pass or something.
The pass was a bit low into the chair frame instead of the hands or the bread basket, and Dejanay beaten over top by Riley Bat. We're in that 2-minute drill time here of the quarter and the game.
Drag race.
Great. Oh boy. Riley Bat is just really playing undisciplined here. You know, up until this point in the tournament, I'd say he'd turn the corner in terms of, you know, that there's the play right there. He
according to
hits him in the front first,
exactly.
but then the second hit was in the back of the wheels. So
my understanding of the rules, if you make contact in front of the axle and then carry through, it doesn't matter if Riley gave a little nudge at the very end because he maintained contact throughout.
But I think it almost looked like a double bump there,
right.
So referee's right on top of that one.
And we have the fortunate, you know,
the
we can watch
advantage
the
of the replay.
Right? The referee has to make that in a split-second decision. And
well done by the referee as we take a look at the classification cards. Each player assigned their classification on an international card. Whitehead will delay a little bit here.
Oh, wait. Did they call a flagrant?
They might have called a flagrant on that one. Well, I guess you can only go to the well so many times. And
exactly. I think the
Canada, nice pickoff by Whitehead, and he'll score right away. So momentum for Canada as they quadruple team the two inbounders. This time Edmondson gets it. He's hit by Lavoie. Whitehead gets around the outside of Lees. Hit again by Whitehead.
Ball coming.
Going to be forced to send a hope pass.
Pick it up, pick it up.
Lavoie stops it before it rolls over the end line, and back comes Canada.
It's the right play. Well, they got to quickly score, too. So now they set up the trap on Riley Bat, forcing him to inbound. Whoa, wait. Well, the Canadians got to score, obviously. They get third down. Looks like the Canadians are just practicing and setting up for the next play.
So Lavoie will hang on to the ball, let the time run down a little bit here. The 40-second clock, just under 10 now.
Looks like the reality of the situation is starting to sink in now for the Canadians, knowing that the clock is ticking down.
But they're still playing with incredible intensity and playing the smart, strategical, and tactical game, forcing Bat to call inbounder. And
Aussies don't even have to get over half. They don't have to.
And Bat leans into Lavoie there and goes in for the try. And we've got an equipment timeout, new wheel needed. With 1.5 seconds to go in the game, Australia will be the bronze medalist at the 2018 Canada Cup for wheelchair rugby here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. And if anybody's planning on coming to Canada, or if you live in the Lower Mainland, you got to get out here and see this. Made out of that pine beetle blue streaked wood are these beams and the acoustic tiles.
Yeah, it won some sort of design award.
And Lavoie will be happy just to let time run out as Canada. I thought Canada's had a good tournament, Ian, overall. They've played a disciplined brand of rugby. They've got lots of guys in to, you know, get some experience.
Yeah, and Canadians shouldn't hang their heads at all. They had a great tournament, and there's plenty of positives that they should look to. I'm sure, you know, they're not too happy about this loss, but, you know, upon reflection, or maybe when they have time to look at some video, they can definitely take some good things out of this game and this whole event.
And Australia, ranked #1 in the world, wins the bronze here. And that'll be a big confidence boost for them to head into the World Championships with a medal.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they're a little bit upset about the couple losses they had versus USA and Team Japan. But, you know, they'll just have to rally the troops and prepare themselves for the upcoming World Championships.
So that'll do it for the bronze medal game. Team Australia with a 63-56 hard-fought victory over Team Canada at the 2018 Canada Cup here on SportsCanada.TV. I'm Tim Frick alongside Ian Chan, and we will see you exactly half an hour from now, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, for the final game, gold medal matchup. Undefeated USA takes on Team Japan.